Welcome back. Global rating agency S&P says South Africa's sovereign credit ratings and outlook will not be immediately affected by the change of the country's leadership. The agency says Cyril Ramaphosa, who has taken over as South African president from the departing Jacob Zuma, will require time to design and implement measures to improve economic growth and stabilize public finances, given the structural and institutional challenges that South Africa faces. The agency rates South Africa's foreign currency debt at BB with a stable outlook and its local currency debt at BB Plus with a stable outlook. Both ratings are in the sub-investment grade or junk category. Rival agency Moody's earlier said it was monitoring development. A Sierra Leonean, Euphemia Ann Sydney Davis, has been chosen to represent West Africa as part of the Commonwealth Fashion Exchange. The designs will be unveiled at a reception at Buckingham Palace on Monday, February 19, hosted by the Duchess of Cambridge. When Euphemia left Sierra Leone aged 11 at the height of the country's civil war, she had lost everything. 20 years later, she's about to rub shoulders with British royalty. Watch this.
Love this print. It's just so subtle, but the blue and orange works really well. And this is a fabric I bought from a local tradeswoman in Sierra Leone.
The initiative is spearheaded by Livia Firth, a founder of Echo Age and wife of actor Colin Firth. It aims to champion sustainable, ethical fashion by pairing designers such as Stella McCartney and Burberry with artisan producers from the Commonwealth's 53 countries. Euphemia Ann Sydney Davis believes fashion has a responsibility to be sustainable and ethical, and so shunned having her designs produced in India, China or Bangladesh.
I needed to find affordable production, and I thought, well, instead of going to the usual India, China, Bangladesh, all those places where I have questions as well about the practices, you're not there, you don't see how the clothing's getting made, you don't see how long the workers are working and how they're treated. So I thought, well, instead of going that far, why not Sierra Leone?
The 31-year-old fashion designer established her label, Sydney Davis, in England on the outskirts of London, where she stitches and sews in the lounge of her apartment.
The fashion industry does have a responsibility because we are the ones creating these pieces, we're the ones supplying the world with clothing, and our behaviors and attitudes towards clothing and our practices does affect the sustainability and ethical aspect of fashion. But also it's important with consumers because then we're the ones that buy.
She set up a shack in the capital of Freetown and taught 7 men and women how to make clothes.
So that was my way to contribute to Sierra Leone, because not only am I sort of helping educate some of these people, but in turn supporting their families, and they have a source of income, and I know where it's made, I know it's ethical, it's sustainable, and it's something that could hopefully inspire others.
Being able to help her struggling countrymen is a source of great pride for the young designer, and she hopes it could encourage the creative industry there.
I want to use this to raise awareness and also to motivate other Sierra Leoneans in diaspora to consider going to Sierra Leone to do their business or sourcing from Sierra Leone. And also hopefully this will be a wake-up call for the Sierra Leonean government to do more, at least open the doors for creativity in Sierra Leone.
Her dream is to one day open a factory in Freetown and to use fashion as a force for good, creating jobs, decent working conditions, and an ethical supply chain.
And And in Mali, a farmer there is using a computerized greenhouse system to keep his vegetables growing in any weather. The technology makes it possible to control temperatures and cut water waste. Farmers are being encouraged to adapt to changing climate through climate-smart farming techniques as Mali grappled with recurring periods of drought that have destroyed crops and made it increasingly difficult to cultivate food.
About 25 kilometers from Mali's capital, Bamako, a farmer is reaping profit from growing tomatoes using advanced greenhouse technology.
These are very good varieties, I'm sure.
Amadou Sidibe, a trained architect, started his farm in 2002, but upgraded it last year to include a computer-controlled system that controls irrigation, monitors humidity and temperature, and also helps protect from pests. Farmers are being encouraged to adapt to the hotter climate through climate-smart farming techniques.
La culture sous serre au Mali a beaucoup d'avantages.
Greenhouse farming in Mali has a lot of advantages. First of all, crops are protected under a structure made of metal and plastic that is also covered by a net. With this, we control the sun's radiation and we avoid pest attacks. We are trying to create laboratory conditions to optimize the growth of plants.
Vous savez, la tomate ne vient pas d'Afrique, ça vient d'Amérique du Sud.
Sidibe says the local banks he approached were not ready to give him any credit, so he went to various foreign development organizations. Paul Kahega Muteru, a greenhouse engineer from Kenya, has been managing Sidibe's farm since March last year.
So what we do is, after we determine the amount of water to give based on the radiation and also on the crop stage, then we program in the computer the number of cycles to give every time and the time to start, the intervals between the cycles, and also the time to stop the irrigation.
Farmers are being encouraged to experiment with new crops and methods that can build their resilience to worsening harvest losses. Sidibe harvests about 25 tons of tomatoes every month and sells a kilogram for between $1 to $1.50 on the local market. The farm employs 30 workers.
The farm is very important for our village because a number of people work here. From the money I earn, I am able to give part of it to my parents, and I use the rest to cover my own expenses.
Experts say Mali has also had significant success moving towards food self-sufficiency through its initiative to subsidize purchases of good quality certified rice seed, as well as fertilizers for farmers in an effort to cut reliance on rice inputs and grow more food of its own.
And with that, we wrap up today's edition of the program and, of course, for the week. Thank you very much for being part of it. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwawo. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.